this tutorial I want to show you to make a basic um, internet bot. I have right here, if you can't hear it, switch headphones. Some reason when I started using Windows 8, the quality of my built-in computer speaker went down. So the only other microphone I could find was probably the most pathetic microphone ever. And so there's some problems with the channels, so you might not be able to hear one of the headphones. It won't come out one of the speakers or one of the headphones. So if you're wearing headphones, just make sure they're both in their ear or take out the one that doesn't work. So this is just basic on internet bots. Even though this is some basic stuff, you can take this and practically make almost any bot. Um, so I'm just going to show you just basics. We're just going to make one that will log in. First, you want to open Notepad. So, start, run, Notepad. A quick way to do it would be hold the start button and press R, and then run comes up. Open Notepad. Let's make the font smaller again. And well, the first thing we want to do is save this file to your desktop. Click where it says save as type, click all file, and just write bot.vbs. And you should see this blue script file appear in your desktop, and when you double click it, it executes the bot. But we still have to write the bot. So we're going to use WScript for this, meaning you don't have to go out and download any software. All the software is built into Windows and will work for us. So in Notepad, you want to start off by writing set. Let me make this font a little bit smaller. No, I think it's good. So write set web browser equals create object. No, we're going to write Internet Explorer dot application. We're going to harness the power of Internet Explorer, which this will work on any computer, whether you have Chrome, Firefox installed. This is probably the only time I ever use Internet Explorer is when I'm using bots. So this will let us harness Internet Explorer. Now we're going to write web browser. Now what we want to do is remove all the things that will slow it down. Web browser.statusbar equals false. Web browser.menubar equals false. Web browser.toolbar equals false. Then now when you're running a bot, you don't necessarily want to have it visible if you want to run it in the background. But if you want to have it visible so you can see what's going on, write web browser dot visible equals true. And we're going to go ahead and have it visible. And as you can see, if all your code works, when you double click this blue script file, just open up Windows Internet Explorer and there'll be nothing at all in it. So after that's done, we're ready to start making our bot. So first, we're just going to make a simple one that logs us into Gmail. And I'm just going to use an alternate account. So we're going to say web browser.navigate. This navigate function, we just write in here where we want it to make the bot navigate to. We're going to say www.gmail.com. Now let's test this. As you can see, it loads with gmail.com now. Now how do we fill out these forms? Well, there are a couple things you need to know. Um, if 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 you're something on a form, let's say a button, you have to click it. You want to remember you got to use .click. You'll see this later. Like this checkbox, if you want to check it, you got to click it. If it's a text box that you write in, you got to remember .value. And if it's a text area, well, the difference between a text box and a text area is text boxes have one line, text areas have more than one line. You'll see what I'm talking about in a bit, but just remember, anything you click on is .click. Any text box is .value, and any text area is .text, .inner text. So these are two text boxes, which means .value, and this is the button, which means .click. So what we want to do is open up Google Chrome. I suggest using Google Chrome for this. And we're going to go to gmail.com. Wait for it to load. And see, you should see these two things, and there's these empty input boxes. Right click, hit inspect element. And when this thing pops up, it should, when you right click the text box and hit inspect element, it should load up this developer tools with this line highlighted. And that line that's highlighted should say like input and all this. You want to look for where it says name equals or ID equals. Both of those will work. So what you want to do, you want to find where it says name equals or ID equals and just double click what's in the two quotes. And right here, see in the two quotes is email. So just copy this. And you're going to go back to your bot and you're going to write, to prevent errors, we're going to say wscript.sleep 5000. That will just make it wait for 5 seconds. Because if you try to edit a form while the web page is loading, you'll get an error and your code will stop. So we're just going to make it wait 5 seconds to make sure it's done loading. Then we're going to write web browser dot document dot all dot item, and see all dot item. Then in these parentheses we're going to write what we just copied, email. Now what we're going to do, we're going to write dot and what I said before. Since this is a text box, we're going to write dot value, and that will change this in the text box. And that's, we're going to log in as Koroski test. No wait, where did I write this down? Koroski test at gmail.com. Now look what happens when you double click this bot file and run it. As you can see, it'll load up the page. 5 seconds later, it writes KoroskiTest at gmail.com in the username by itself. So what we're going to do, we're going to right click the other text box and we're going to copy that, and that's password, PSWD. And we can just go ahead and duplicate this line. Go back to Gmail, let's copy that again, PS. The ID is PSSWD. Like I said, you can also use names for this, and IDs. They both work. If they don't have a name or not, if one of the fields on a form doesn't have a name or ID, just don't bother with it. So see this one, we just gotta change web browser dot document. You just gotta change email to password dot value because it's a text area, and the password I made for this, I just made it say VTech12345 because I had a VTech phone by me. VTech, and then we're going to get the last one. The last one is the button. When you right click the button, it says the ID is sign in. Let's copy that, and web browser dot document dot all dot item sign in. Since it's a button, we're going to write dot click, and that will click the button for us. But it takes like a fraction of a second to write all this, to fill out all these forms. So if you make it click at the same time it's trying to fill out the forms, it could not fill them out properly. So we're going to make it stop again and say wscript.sleep 100. That's a tenth of a second. And so this will make it wait a tenth of a second to make sure it fills out all the forms, and then click the button. Now when I run this bot, it should log me into Gmail. Let me see if it'll do it by itself. I'm not typing anything. As you can see, it successfully logged me into Gmail. So this is a this may seem like a simple, a really simple bot, like what can you do with this? But this same concept can work anywhere. If you take the URL and let's say change it to a person's, let's say, or you change it to a page on a forum, and you change document.all.item, you change this to the title, where you type in the title of your post, and this to the body, and that to text, and then do the same thing down here. You can make it like post a thread for you, or if you go ahead and learn VBScript, you could learn math functions and all this stuff to actually be able to make your bot do pretty advanced things. But this is just a basic bot. Believe me, VBScript's easy. There are tutorials for it everywhere. But that's just how you want to make. That's how you make a basic internet bot. Um, but this same concept thrown on with regular coding, you can make almost any bot. This is how I make my bots, except usually I use JScript instead of VBScript, cause just it just feels nicer. A JScript file's the same thing, except you write bot.js. So you may see bot files like as a blue script or like this tan script. So whatever. That's how you make a basic internet bot, and that's about it.